Dividing complex numbers, part 2. And I'm giving a part 2 mainly because I do want to give an example where you do have a binomial on top and a binomial on the bottom. So what we're going to do, of course, is we're going to follow our steps that we've outlined. And the first thing we need to do is find the conjugate. So we know that we have to keep the first number, which is -2. We need to change the sign, so this was negative, so now we're going to change it to a positive, and put our 5i here. And of course, whatever you found on the bottom, you need to write on the top of here. Perfect. So now, of course, the second step is to do FOIL, or distribution, and we're going to multiply this through. And of course, I'll go ahead and do different colors to help make things a little bit easier for us with the limited space. So I've got -2 times the -6 gives us 12. Draw my line here. A -6 times a positive 5i gets me a -30i. And I've got I times a -2, so it's -2i. And then I times 5i, which is 5i squared. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom. -2 times a -2 is 4. -2 times 5i is a negative. -5i. And then we have -5i times a -2, which gets us a... Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even multiply. So -2 times 5 is 10. This should be a 10. It's like, wait a minute. What's going on here? -5i times a 5i gets us a -25i squared. Okay, so now that we've multiplied everything out, of course, we're going to simplify everything. So let's look at the top. See what we can simplify. We've got our -30i and our -2i, which gets us a -32i. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the correct spot that it needs to be. And again, remember, we've got I squareds here, which means these are -1s. So we've got 5 times a -1, that gets us a -5. And 12 minus 5 is 7. So that's the top. Now let's go ahead and look at the bottom. So the bottom, of course, -10i and positive 10i, they cancel, so they're gone. We've got a -25 times a -1, gets us positive 25. Plus 4 gets us 29. Okay, so now that we've simplified it, the last step, of course, is to separate and reduce. So we've got 7 over 29 minus 32 over 29. And, of course, don't forget your I. And of course, always check to see if you can reduce. And in both of these cases, we can't reduce. And so this would be your answer.